Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 118 of This Week at Shrouded. I'm your host today, A. Greener. With me is Mr. Wrecked. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Hello.
Beautiful. We got a lot to talk about today. We didn't have a show last week. I was busy at GCX, so we'll talk a little bit about GCX. Obviously, more Edge of Fate stuff, DP, the cheating scandal, all the new stuff in the TWID. Which this TWID actually wasn't. Well, it had some interesting stuff in it, yeah, we'll get into all that, all things Destiny. And first, we gotta let everybody know who our weekly winners are, very quickly. Weekly winner for 2300 silver, Reaper of Souls 0718. Congratulations. And our t-shirt weekly winner is Devilito, because he's like the only one that bought any tickets. So congratulations. And just an FYI, because the tickets were so little over the last couple weeks on the t-shirts, I've disabled that currently, and maybe we'll do something else. But in the meantime, you can't buy tickets for that.
Devilito, like half his closet has to be SGC shirts.
It's probably more than half his the closet at this point. It's probably pretty crazy. Him and Legacy has got so much fucking merchandise. It's unbelievable. Oh, did you hear the YouTube news? No. You can say fuck right at the beginning of your videos now, and they won't ever be removed for monetization.
Oh. Well, yeah. What a fucking great thing.
I know, right?
What a good fucking change.
I think it's hilarious. I saw the message about that the other day, and I was like, oh damn, that's crazy. It's not like we monetize our YouTube videos anyway. We don't really make very much. Well, we don't make any money off our YouTube videos, but maybe one day. Anyway, so I just wanted to point that out. But let's get into some Destiny. I think the big news of last week was clearly the Desert Perpetual contest clears, 80% of them being like cheated or, well, cheated just in general. Everybody calling for bans across the board. Bungie kind of responding, saying they're looking into it. And then officially today, we got confirmation from Bungie that they are doing a ban wave. They didn't say specifically if they're like, oh, we're just going to ban everybody in the fire team. We're going to ban the cheaters. Da, 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 da. We'll see how far that goes. I think a lot of the community is on board with just like ban all of the people that cheated to get the contest clear. Or ban all the people that played with the cheater to get the contest clear, or ban all the people that got a recovery and those people happen to cheat to get a contest clear, etc., etc., etc. And then there's other people that are like, just ban the cheater and maybe give warnings to the people that did recovs or whatnot. But we'll see. We'll see what they're. There's been no official confirmation on how deep they are going to go exactly.
There's actually more to that.
Oh,
in a now deleted tweet, somebody who was supposedly from Bungie's trust and safety team leaked a screenshot of the list of people on the ban list.
What?
All of them. Yes. I happen to have that screenshot of that list of names, and there are 3 people on it in particular.
Really?
That I was interested in finding. All 3 of the people that we banned from our community for cheating their names appear on that list.
Let's go! Vindication! I love it. All right. That's awesome. Anyone famous on there?
No. I mean, there's a bunch of Asdacross 6712s, but they're copycat accounts, right?
None of them are the real Asdacross. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. No major streamers. There were a few like smaller streamers that have already been busted for it. People looked at their stuff online and that are on there, but nobody super major. The chat wants to know who we banned from our community. Sorry, can't do that. Maybe we'll tell you.
It won't be me. Telling them, but I can't remember. There was
Osama bin Laden.
Oh, well, Osama bin Laden. There was the Eve. What I don't know what his full name was.
EBZ It's EVZ86 from Shot. He was in
From Shrouded
Outlaws.
Outlaws.
And then
And,
Murph from Shrouded Souls.
Murph, yeah, that's it. So they were all on there. You went and checked. That's crazy. Is anyone else enshrouded on that list?
We didn't look. We didn't comment. The list is a picture, and so you have
So
to
you can't, like,
have
search them.
you have to have Chat GPT kind of or a bot or an AI kind of parse the list, because there's here. You know what? I don't really want to show it on stream, but I will share it with you.
Yeah, some of that.
There are, I mean, there's over 1,000 people on the list, right?
Yeah.
So
It was a big number.
So let me just, here we go. I'm gonna send this to Greener. You can see Greener's reaction to the size of the list live. Here comes the image. It's rolling in now. He's waiting for it to load. It's like a 13 megabyte picture, which is not a small image file. Now he sees the list because there it is. It's fully loaded.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
There's
If you open
so many people.
if you open the link, you can actually read it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy. Somebody tweeted this?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Supposedly somebody from Bungie's trust and safety team, but it's gone now, and the account is gone now, as far as I'm aware.
Chat,
I mean, you could probably bring up the DM and just show them like the full size preview. It's not like it's going to be anybody, but that will give everybody an idea of the size of the image, the size of the list. It's crazy.
Hold on. There you go, chat.
There you go. That's the size of the list.
There is at least, I don't know, what is that, 200 fire teams?
Yeah. Yep.
Probably, if not more.
Yep.
That's a crazy list.
So it could be that the person was talking out of their ass, and that's just a list of the people from the fire team hashes that were published on Raid Hub.
Sure.
But the apocrypha is that the person who leaked that list is actually from Bungie Trust and Safety, so which is their team that handles.
There's a crazy list of names if they ban them all.
But that is legitimately all the people. That is legitimately all the hashes from teams.
That's cool. I'm glad.
How do you read it, Devilito? You zoom in on it because you can actually see all the names when you look at it at full size.
It's a high res. How did they cheat? Chat asks. Well, I think it's mostly network manipulation damage, right?
I would assume most of it's net limiting or DPS.
Yeah, net limiting for DPS. If you go back and look at all their stats, that's why it was so easy to find. It's like people spent within like an hour, a little less than an hour to an hour inside of Desert Perpetual during contest mode. A raid that took 15 hours for the day or for the world's first. A lot of the fire teams you'll go through, and then one person will have 6,000 kills, and everyone else will in total have like 180. There's a lot of stats that it's incredibly obvious what's going on there, and essentially a lot of people are getting pulled into it because they paid for a recovery, but the recovery team was cheating to get the clears, which both are against TOS. So I mean, I don't really feel particularly bad for anybody. I may feel particularly bad for anybody that potentially maybe cleared first, second, and third boss and found an LFG doing last boss, and maybe somebody blasted the.
I suspect there'll be some nuance to Bungie's banning
Yeah.
people. If somebody was running with somebody and they just like did a single encounter or the final boss, and it just
Just
so
the final
happens that
boss,
group, that person that limited,
Yeah.
you know,
That'd be a tricky
because of
one.
the way that damage phase works, you might not have been able to tell immediately. You would have been obvious when you one phased the boss, but by that time it's already done.
Yeah, it's done, and like, is your first inclination to just be like, "Oh my god, I got to get out of this fire, orbit! I don't want the emblem." No, nobody's really thinking that. I don't think. Maybe they will next World's First because of this controversy. They'll be like, "Oh god, no, get me out of here!" But yeah, there's going to be a little bit of nuance, but I would say a huge percentage of those people were 100% sure they were either getting a recov or somebody in their team was cheating.
Yeah, the crazy thing is that people were using Bungie's Fire Team Finder on Bungie.net to advertise this service, like, and not just alluding to it, like blatantly putting the dollar amount in their LFG listing.
Well,
So
they figured they would last long enough to get like, they're fine. They got a ton of money. Like, if they got a bunch of recovs, they probably were charging a pretty penny for that. Like, they
yeah,
probably made. It doesn't matter if their accounts get banned. They're cheating. Like, it doesn't matter. They're gonna boot up a new one, do whatever they need to do to get what they need to be able to do, you know, mythic carries. Like, it's gonna continue on and continue on and continue on. But yeah, anyway. That was interesting. All right, well, people gonna get banned.
yes, indeed.
Let's see how big that ban operation is.
I wonder if Bungie's going to tell us how many people they've actually banned. I mean, they're not going to tell us who they banned, but maybe they'll tell
Well,
us
if they
the
ban
total
all
amount.
those people, and I just estimated. I don't know why I needed the calculator to do that math. There's at least 1,200 people on that list.
Yeah. Yep.
1,200 end-game players-ish, technically. I mean, do you even care about that if you're not an end-game player?
Probably not.
Yeah, so that's a revenue source that they're going to be getting rid of. I wonder if they can afford it. You never know. Anyway, yeah. Cheating in PvE to get an emblem. An emblem. It's not even the rarest emblem.
I mean, it is pretty rare emblem.
It's pretty rare, but it's not the rarest emblem. The rarest emblem is, well, there's a couple of them, I guess. So, according to the emblem report, there's an emblem called Fly Together that only one person has, and it was granted to the Make-A-Wish Guardian. And then there's an emblem called Wish Granter that only one person has, and the source is unknown. So, and then there's one called End of the Fire, also unknown. Eternal Moment, unknown. 2. Humanity's Chosen has 3. Awarded by Bungie to those who are being positive voice in the community. I'd like to know how I get one of those.
Gonna have to drastically change the tone of the show if you're ever gonna get that.
Oh, positive force, even if I swear. Anyway, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have the 9th rarest emblem in my inventory, and I'm pretty proud of that. But how far down do I need to go to even get? Like, I don't even see the other one. Shit, what does it look like? Maybe I'm missing something. What's it called? Do you know the name of the emblem?
No.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. You're supposed to know.
I don't have it. Why would I know it?
Hold on. Desert. It's not even showing up here. Really? DP? Contest? Contest, Salvation's Edge contest mode. I don't think they have it in here. Maybe they haven't added it because of all the dog shit that's going on around it right now. All right, never mind. I won't worry about it right now. Wild story. Okay, all right. Well, that's that. That was our day one raid contest mode raid controversy. Other than that, I am under the impression that day one was very hard. People at first were very whiny about it on the internet. I noticed, but then once they started to actually, once people started to clear it, they quickly changed their tone to, oh my god, that was amazing, and I feel amazing that I cleared it. So I thought that was actually a funny like roller coaster to kind of watch for the people that actually ended up clearing it, because there was a lot of people that like 10 15 hours in, there's like, this is fucking dog shit, and then like 12 hours later they're like, oh my god, that was the best contest mode I've ever been a part of. And I thought that was really funny, just because, well, I don't know, it was a funny interaction. But it seemed tough, and people were kind of mad that it was as hard as it was. And Bungie kind of talked about it and said they'll probably... It was in an article somewhere that they were looking at the numbers and everything, and they'll use this experience to feed the next day one and that type of stuff. So you think they'll drop the HP bars or whatever?
Maybe. Be interested to see if they're going to do another raid race type thing when they add
release
the enhancements.
Epic raid.
Yeah.
Now there was also a bit of a controversy that the power delta was wrong, and Destiny has not confirmed nor denied that. Or Bungie
They did not. That's right.
So that's interesting. I guess it doesn't really matter at this point. If they announce that the power delta is wrong, like, people are gonna riot for another crack at contest mode. You think they'd give it?
Maybe. I'm actually surprised they didn't give it, considering the crashing problems that PS5 in particular was having. Honestly, because it was, again, not players' faults, and it's under doctrine because of the PlayStation Network outage. They did indeed, do a redo, but might be too much to ask for them to do a redo for an actual raid.
Yeah, I'm a bit curious about it, but I don't really care that much.
I mean, I wouldn't be stepping in there any more than I was this time. I'll tell you that much. No, sir. Not this guy. Not really interested in doing contest mode that potentially requires a bunch of loadout swapping. Although there are some strats now to
fix that up, and if they drop the power delta, it wouldn't be as much less swapping.
Can you imagine they relaunch it and reduce the power delta? Man, the internet would lose its mind.
Only the people that completed it, legitimately.
Maybe. Anyway, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, unlikely.
I think it's done. So how was GCX?
Yeah, we can get into GCX. I had a good time at GCX, actually. All whatever this drama that's happening on Twitter about GCX, I can tell you, I can confirm 100% that it wasn't like widespread. If you weren't in whatever little group was affected, you didn't even notice it was happening. I didn't see anybody get kicked out. I didn't know why they're kicked out. The only thing I saw was what was going on Twitter afterwards, and there was a message in the GCX. I think the GCX Discord. It might have been the Destiny 2 creator Discord. Actually, I'm not sure. Hold on, let me check real quick. It was in a Destiny 2 creator Discord. It mentioned. I don't know if all messages are under NDA or not, but it talked about.
You just better not. I would just not.
It talked about reports of harassment.
Okay.
So, there must have been something going on, but I mean, it wasn't super widespread or anything, as far as I know.
I mean, the rumor was there was a group of guys going around harassing females. I mean, that's what the Twitter scuttlebutt said.
That's what I heard.
Although
from Twitter.
there are people there saying that they were close to the situation, and that's not what was going on. But I don't know. It's he said, she said, fucking internet drama.
If I've learned anything in my life about he said, she said, and harassment, guys, you might not like what I'm about to hear, but 99% of the time, like what the woman is saying about harassment is true. So, and then the guy will complain up and down that it wasn't. Don't come at me about the 1%, all right? The 99% is more important than the 1%. I don't care about the 1%. Well, I do. That sucks for them. But the 99% is the number you should be focused on. Anyway, so that sucks. But overall, GCX was cool. They had a great big Fallout experience there this year. So that's really neat to see GCX expanding past Destiny. Destiny's great and all, but like when GCX was just Destiny, like that's all you're gonna have. There's a ton of people that come to GCX now that just like never played Destiny. They don't care. They're there for the other stuff. It's not like a big Destiny convention anymore. It's now there's a huge influx of Destiny content creators that attend GCX. That is absolutely true. You might not find a bunch of other ones there, but there definitely is others there as well. So, and it's getting bigger every year. My highlights, obviously, Bungie invited some creators to meet and greet. Well, they called it a happy hour party, where we just got to meet and talk with other creators. Plus, they had some employees from Bungie there, the narrative director, the narrative lead, and Cosmo, DMG were there. And Jared was there too from the Bungie Foundation, but I don't actually know what he does anymore because he's not like the Bungie Foundation lead anymore. He took another job. As far as I know, Britley is the one that replaced him. She was on the stream. If you watch the Bungie Foundation stream, she was the one spinning the wheel. That's what Jared used to do, so that's why I'm assuming she completely replaced him. I might be wrong. So I got to talk to her. I got to talk to Allison Lore. I always forget the other lady's name, and I feel bad about it. But she was the narrative lead on Edge of Fate. I quickly talked to DMG. I barely said anything to Cosmo other than I was excited for Marathon. And he gave me the thumbs up. So that was cool. They did a whole narrative panel, which basically the conversation that we had during the meet and greet was literally everything that they said to us when I was having a conversation with them. Because we were asking some questions. One, there was a couple things that actually were interesting that didn't come out because the questions weren't asked. But did you know that Bungie, even after the arrival of the pyramid ships, had no idea that the Witness was the big bad guy?
It doesn't surprise me.
The more you know.
Oftentimes it feels like their narrative doesn't actually go much further. Their planned narrative doesn't actually go much further than the game we currently have. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we asked that specifically to them during the meet and greet, and yeah, that was, even though they only came. I mean, Allison's first expansion was the final shape, but so obviously she wasn't even there when the witness was introduced. But I like to assume the narrative director got all the information, and she seemed pretty confident in that answer. Another thing that we were talking about that didn't make it to the panel. I assume most people watched the panel, but maybe they didn't, because it was live streamed. If you missed it, was they were talking about the implication. The spoilers alert. A spoiler alert for the Edge of Fate campaign. If you haven't completed it now, close your ears. 3, 2, 1. So she talked about how renegades would have. We would start seeing the implications of our god, the 3, being dead, and how important them being alive for Earth is. So I thought that was interesting, because I kind of felt like Renegades was going to be like a completely like off the beaten path storyline. So I thought that was a little bit interesting, where we're going to start immediately seeing the implications of, I guess, I don't know much about lore, but they explained it to me that it's, that the 9, each one has its own planet in our solar system, including the sun, and they're responsible for, like, it not imploding on itself.
Yeah.
And now ours is dead.
Yeah.
She did look directly at me and said, "You're not going to start seeing volcanoes explode randomly all over the place, but you're going to start seeing the implications of."
Well, ours is dead again.
Ours is dead. Well, she also specifically said they can't be replaced.
But they clearly can be revived. You just
Maybe.
got to play enough Gambit.
Well, potentially. Potentially, because what I mean, based on what she said, they're clearly going with the story. We're gonna have to start dealing with ours being gone, and that we can't replace it with somebody else. Like, it was a god. So that was
Such
really
a waste. If you're gonna kill as a guardian, if you're gonna be involved in a space god being killed, you really want to be able to turn it into a gun, like every other space god we've killed.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah,
Imagine a series of exotics with 1 of 9, 2 of 9, 3 of 9, all different weapons, 4 of 9, 5 of 9.
That would be,
good.
Yeah. We can get 3 of 9 right off. It's the seasonal exotic for renegades.
Fucking go kidnap Lodi and squeeze that 3 of 9 juice out of him. Turn it into something.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was the only extra bit of information that I really retained from the conversation. A lot of it was going over my head because, me being a big lore hound.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to pretend like I knew what the fuck they were talking about half the time. But it was an interesting conversation nonetheless. And I learned something. Like, I didn't know the 9 had anything to do with our actual planetoids. So I was like, oh, cool. Or I'm pretty sure I was like, oh, yeah. But, yeah, and I thought the panel was actually really interesting, how they explain their narrative process and how they come up with ideas and how they're working on with one another. And then, they vote on the best ideas, and it's not all just a one-person show. And I mean, clearly it worked for Final Shade. People are raving over the Edge of Fate story, even if they're not raving over the campaign gameplay itself. She's the narrative director, so we're not talking about gameplay here. So that's good. I had no idea she worked at Larian. I thought that was really interesting information, and I was like, well, that makes a lot of sense because their narrative team is incredible. And the Edge of Fate narrative lead, not the whole game's narrative director, but I keep forgetting her name. The game she worked on before Edge of Fate was God of War Ragnarok. So I was like, I got some big hitters, for these, and then you gotta admit, Final Shape and Edge of Fate. If anything's going for those two expansions, it's the narrative story. So they seem to know what they're doing. So hopefully they don't get replaced. I mean, if they get replaced, maybe it'll be by someone that's even better. But I think they're doing a very good job. So at least at this point, and they seem to know what they're doing. I don't know. It was fun. It was fun to listen.
All right. Well, since getting back, have you had a chance to get into some more Destiny? I actually saw you fire it up like yesterday or something.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly when. I have played more of it. I am still very far behind. I will be digging a lot of time into it, maybe soon.
Have you cleared the campaign yet?
No. So yes, all that stuff got spoiled for me during my narrative conversation. All the Lodi stuff, had no idea. All the third stuff, had no idea. The Maya Senderush stuff, no idea. And they were just like pumping out information like everybody there had played it. I'm like, I get it. I'm a D2 creator. That doesn't mean I have unlimited time. It's only been a week and like 3 days. What are you doing? No, I didn't care.
What's your power level right now, Greener?
I don't know, like 79. Yeah.
Interesting.
Why?
That's good. Good job. Yeah. Keep grinding, buddy.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of grinding up ahead. But you guys may have seen a couple weeks ago, I was up and off during the podcast. My dad's still sick, so he's actually at the hospital now. So that's even less time because I'm dealing with that. And yeah, so I don't know when I'm going to... Fuck, it might be... I don't even know when I'm going to do DP. I mean, Hoppy invited me to do it this weekend, but do you have to finish the Edge of Fate storyline?
You need to be power level 100 to get in.
I might, yeah. I don't think I'm going to be able to get there. I don't have time this weekend.
I mean, a couple of people could get into their story mode with you and burn through the content pretty quickly. Hoppy and I burned through all the story and all 3 characters in a day and a half.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, so there's that, and then just general life. I had a lot of stuff going on in July with the family reunion, and then the GCX and my dad's stuff. So it's been tough to find gaming time for that. Anyway, I like what I see. I know some of it probably is going to seem a little bit blah for people that are like power grinding. So, because then you're going to be doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Oh yeah, definitely will be.
But the people that aren't, the people that are enjoying it at a regular pace, you get to go, you get to play the game, you get to go in. We got Arms Week, we got Solstice coming up, all that stuff. If you enjoy it at a decent pace, doing a few raids a week, portal stuff, seasonal activities. Well, I guess there is no seasonal activity. I think it'll be, for me, for example, like the way I'm going to end up playing it, it's going to be a lot less repetitive and annoying. But also, I'd be surprised if I hit 450 before Renegade. Oh, I guess major update. I'm definitely not before major update. There's no way. Then it goes up to 550, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I'd be surprised if I get to 550 by Renegades. Just the way my life's going right now. I'm legitimately surprised. I'm going to try to play it the best so, I can actually have an opinion on this show. But it's been a while. It's been a wild summer.
I am 364 right now, and it's a lot of grinding. I'll be 400 by the time the weekend's up, but
Yeah.
You know, you can't even. It's like you can't even go into a raid for power increases. Like the raid does not drop increases.
It's all portal shit, eh? That's the way they built it.
You have to do all portal stuff. Yeah.
I wonder if they're eventually going to add the raise of the portal. Surely they are, right?
I would assume eventually they're gonna float in there.
Yeah, all right. I
But
hope so.
some of the stuff that's in there is the implementation was better than others. Like this week they added coil to the ops, but it's bullshit for the amount of time you're in there. The loot versus the amount of time you're in there is not really worth it. The amount of upgrades you get, like you get like 5 drops from it, but 3 of them they're nothing. They're not worth anything to anybody really. And some of the infusion stuff, like grinding the materials, as long as you infuse as you go, it's not a big deal. But if you try to infuse stuff that's sitting in your vault that's 10 power, like to infuse something that's 10 power to 400 power, costs 7,600 cores.
I've seen some of that stuff, yeah.
I infused something today that cost me 3,500 cores, and it was 2 that were in the 300 range, but still cost 3,500 cores. So
wild. I'm interested in getting up there, getting some tier 4 stuff. Actually build out the new stat system because I went into the expansion with pretty decent stat gear, but like in comparison, what you pulled in versus tier 4, tier 5 is probably significantly different.
I've got almost all tier 4 on my Titan right now.
Yeah.
And just between 2 stats, I have over 300 points.
Yeah. So that's what I'm excited to eventually get to and do that stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's segue into the grind and how power works. There is a metric fuck ton. That's the official unit of measure of complaining on the forums and the official forums and Destiny Reddit. Because a lot of vocal people are not enjoying the grind. There's a lot of that the grind is ridiculous, that it's ridiculous that it takes so long to get tier 4 gear. It's ridiculous that old gear is useless. Quotey fingers, useless. But I think the issue is not that they also talk about power level not mattering and it's all going to get reset again in 6 months. So who cares? Why bother doing it? I think Destiny or Bungie has a serious marketing issue when it comes to how the gear chase in this game is portrayed. Because for 99% of people, I think there's no reason to force yourself to grind past tier 3. At tier 3, you're going to have significantly higher stats in total than you were ever able to achieve with your pre-Edge of Fate gear. Even if all your pre-Edge of Fate gear was max rolled, was artifice, and was a perfect distribution, you're still going to be able to have better stats and have a better feeling build with just the tier 3s. I think Bungie kind of failed on marketing the tier 4 and tier 5 stuff as like super aspirational, but not necessary at all in order to feel powerful in the game. Because I feel like people are so much focused on tier 4, tier 5. That is why they're stressing out so much, and that's why they're so mad, because they're like, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 is all I'm ever going to get, so why should I bother grinding tier 5s, right? And then the power grinding itself, once you get out of the story and you start doing the power grind, trying to get the portal activities done and get the appropriate letter grades, there's a couple of there's a couple of things you have to do in order to maximize your score. Like there's a challenge modifier in there, a challenge multiplier that's based off the number of like mods you put onto the activity itself. Like, did you add BANS? Did you add all of the weird stuff like a threat and like shanks have super shields and enemies explode or are invisible or whatever, or your trade-offs like your no HUD, lock loadout, that kind of stuff, and then your benefits like class item heals you, or using class ability heals you, that kind of stuff, right? So putting all that stuff in affects whatever your challenge modifier is, but there's also an equipment modifier, or the modifier that's based off the amount of new gear you're using. And the only way you can really juice that modifier is by ensuring that you're wearing all new gear and or featured exotics. So people are saying the narrative is that using stuff that's not new gear is gimping yourself. But that's only kind of true, because you can offset using a couple of pieces of old gear, the stuff that you want to use, against adding more challenge modifiers, and still get the same result in the end. There are lots of times where like I will run something solo and I will have 1 or 2 pieces of old gear that is dropping anywhere from 0.1 to 0.2 off my reward modifier. But adding some difficulty modifiers on brings that right up, and I'm still very easily soloing A-ranked activities, even at Grandmaster difficulty, when I'm already minus 40, right? That's not me saying that I'm good at the game, because that's not the case. I mean, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying it's not super difficult to still get A rank, even if you're not like fully 100% optimized towards those reward modifiers. So,
Yeah.
and I just don't think I don't think that part of the game is marketed well. Bungie could have done a lot by explaining that a little bit more. And it also doesn't help that all that shit is like buried. Like you got to go 3 menus deep to see where the modifiers are at. So, or to see how your modifiers are affecting your score.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, sounds interesting. My just thing is I hope they start like eventually they're gonna add a bunch of stuff. You know, we've already seen them add onslaught and coil, and there's gonna be more stuff moving forward. As long as I get some of the end game stuff, the dungeons and the raids in there too, I think it'll be helpful. People will be happier to do that type of stuff and get nice drops from it.
Yeah, I also don't think the power grind how it exists is going to exist for too long. I think they're gonna modify it.
They're probably going to modify. They changed the entire game with Edge of Fate. You'd be a fool to think that they're not going to learn from what happens during Edge of Fate and modify it for Renegades or the following thing.
Yeah.
If you think they're just like they're looking at all the people that are complaining right now and saying all this stuff and then yada yada yada, and they're going to go, no, we're right. It's never what, in my opinion, that's never what Bungie is really done. They're going to listen and they're going to make the changes that they think are appropriate. You're going to test them out again in Renegades or maybe the major update, and then the people are going to still say, or they're going to say, oh, that's much better, or it's still dog shit, and they'll listen again and they'll make adjustments.
If they added another drop, like another completion reward to everything, or they shifted all the power bands to where the drop you're getting based off your letter grade, the gear was just 1 higher than what it is right now. Yeah. It would fix a lot of it, I think.
Oh, there you go. See, I'm sure they're seeing that type of stuff, and they're like, yeah, we could fix this by doing this small thing that it's not actually that small, but it looks small, but it's big. Anyway, I get it. Well, I can't have too much of an opinion on that stuff quite yet, but I'm sure I'm going to get there. And I'm sure I'm going to be like, holy Christ. But that's fine. The fact that I've been able to keep up with the grind and all for Destiny in the last 8 years is really quite crazy, considering the amount of time I invest into it over other people. So maybe it is time for things to get a little harder for you or for the casuals. You know what I mean?
Nope.
No.
I want to be clear. All right. I'm gonna look you straight in the eye when I say this. All right. You do not have to grind for tier 4, tier 5 gear, feel powerful in Destiny the video game. Okay? You can grind to tier 3 and you will feel powerful. I promise you. You're going to be very powerful, more powerful than you were before.
It's true. I never understood the power grind anymore anyway. Until you get to the highest point where all of the activities, like what's the highest activity power level? Do you know?
Grandmaster Portal starts at 400. I'm at 400. You're at a delta, right?
Okay, so that actually is quite high. I was gonna say beyond that, like people, like there's people that are 450. What's the point again of 450? There's 0 point.
There isn't. There right now. In fact, the grind from 400 to 450. You are. There are people that are complaining about this as well that are there, and that is the part that really blows my fucking mind. Like Bungie told us exactly how power level grind was going to roll out for Edge of Fate and Ash and Iron until we got to Renegades, right? They told us that in Edge of Fate you would be able to grind yourself to 400. Then you could go to 450, but it would be a much slower grind. Well, all right, let me lay this out for everybody who doesn't know. Grinding from 10 to 400 is pretty much the same process the entire way through. All right. Up until you get to the 200 cap, every drop you get from everywhere is going to be an upgrade. So doing the story, like if you do the story 2 times, once on two different characters, you're going to be basically at 200. Okay. And from there on out, you're going to start getting your stuff that's above 200. It's going to get you into your seasonal power. All right. You're going to do that through the portal. And the way the portal is set up, you at a very high level, you have to increase your difficulty as you go higher and higher and higher in the power band you are until you get to the next set of portal activities. And then your difficulty falls off a cliff. You start again being able to run the enemy power level is high, but you start to be able to run no modifiers again, all the way up until you get to the next band. There's bands inside that where you gotta add some modifiers, but the closer you get to, like, for me, getting from master to grandmaster, it just eventually gets to a point where you have to add all the shit in order to make whatever you're doing worthwhile. And then once you get in the grandmaster, you don't have to put anything on. Everything's fine. Once you get to 400 and you've hit 400 power, you can grind to 450. But here's the thing: unless you're Guardian rank 9, you will for everybody above 400 right now, you can only then increase your account power by getting prime Ingram drops. Okay. Unless you're Guardian rank 9, you are only guaranteed a prime Ingram drop once every 20 drops. And for most portal activities, if you are out of bonuses, that means you have to run 20 portal activities in order to get that drop. Okay. It's roughly like 100 minutes, somewhere around there is basically what the math will work out to. So like an hour and a little less than 2 hours, right? In order to get one piece of gear that's going to increase one slot by +1 above wherever you're already at. Okay. So there's a tremendous amount of grind once you get to that level. If you have Guardian rank 9, there's a modifier in one of the goals in Guardian rank 9 that increases your odds of getting prime Ingram drops. So you're going to get them more than one every 20, right? And so then that'll happen. People are already complaining about the 400 to 450 grind, but when Ashen Iron comes out and they extend the power cap, it's going to go back to being easier to grind to 500. You should start to experience it functioning like it was before. And then when you get the 500 and you're trying to do the 550 grind, it'll be just like it is now. Now, Bungie told us all of that weeks and weeks ago, way before Edge of Fate dropped, and people just didn't read it, I guess. You know, and now they're complaining about it. But like, if you're doing 400 or 450, you're doing the overtime grind, and you are putting yourself through that, right? There's no reason to bitch and moan about it. Just wait till Ashen Iron if you don't like it, and then it'll be easier to do the grind.
Yeah.
Chat saying, so just don't play the game. Gotcha. That's a defeatist attitude.
You don't need to get there. That's the point. All right. So imagine this. If you're not doing Grandmasters, you don't even need to be 400. So you can give up a significantly earlier tier 3 stuff. You can do all the endgame stuff that you want to do. You still do all your raids and your dungeons, all those great things. You know, if you want to be able to do the Grandmaster activities, at the 40 power delta, then you got to get the 400. And I'm sure you'd be getting. I don't know how it works. You get tier 4s at 400?
Yes. So the tier of gear you can expect to get more often is roughly equivalent to the band that you're in. So if you're in the 300 band, you'll get a lot of
3
gear.
4.
But
Okay.
with a few tier 4s now and again. When you get into 400, you get a lot of tier 4s. When you get your prime Ingrams every once in a while, you can get, the tier 5s.
Okay, yeah, no, that all makes sense. Anyway, the point is, based on what activities, like everybody feels like they always. You're absolutely right. You were talking about the grind from 3, 4, 5 or whatever it is, but it's also the power grind. People are obsessed with the highest number, when in reality, getting past a certain point, it's probably like 300. Only opens you up to one other activity. Like it's.
I mean, it's all the same activity. It's just additional power.
It's just a more harder difficulty with additional power. But that's it. So everybody doesn't need to be focused on that. There's a lot of players that don't go that high, that don't do the Grandmaster stuff. Or anyway, point is just do the grind at your pace. Get the guns that you want. You got some really cool guns with Arms Week this week. That's what I was going to talk about earlier. Arms Week came out this week.
It did?
It has cool weapons with it. I don't know. I think they're neat. You get your shotgun hand cannon or whatever you want to call it. There's that. What's the other thing? What is it? Is it a shotgun?
The trace rifle.
Oh, it's a trace rifle. Whatever. Anyway, trace rifles suck. But no,
I mean, you definitely want one for Desert Perpetual. But
all right. But anyway, I have others, but my point was like that was a cool little thing. People keep talking about how there's not going to be stuff to do, that they're just grinding one activity over and over again. Now, I'm not saying they're going to have some. They're choosing to do that because they're trying to get to a level that they don't need to be. And I understand that's the point of a loot shooter too, is obviously to get as high as you can or whatever it is. But anyway, my point is, you got that. We got Solstice. I know not everybody's a huge fan of heavy metal, but then immediately after Solstice, we got heavy metal coming. There's going to be other types of arms weeks that aren't hand cannon related. I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting what they can, what they're going to do to keep us, interested in the game between major updates and expansions. So anyway, I know it's only been like 3 weeks, but I was worried. I was significantly worried about Edge of Fate. It was a big deal going from Final Shape to Edge of Fate, the narrative landed. As far as I know, the raid landed. People seem to be happy with it. Much more on normal than they were contest, I think the loop could become a lot more interesting than it is now. I get that it's a little bit boring, but what I'm trying to say is the frame is there, and this was just their first attempt at completely reworking basically the entire game. So hopefully it can only get better from here.
Yeah.
They'll hit up those little adjustments, make little differences.
Well, I mean, part of the thing that people are talking about it being boring and it's all old activities and power doesn't matter and blah 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 blah. Like people tend to be obsessing over doing whatever activity is going to be the most efficient, which
Yes.
that's a Destiny player thing. Gotta find the way to make the game the least amount of fun. Have I been soloing Caldera, doing solo ops Caldera for the past few days? I absolutely have. Am I going to continue to do that when I'm done here? Yep, I sure am. But that doesn't mean I can't go and run fire team ops, because what's happening as I'm doing my solos, every so often you get another bonus drop somewhere. A lot of times it's not going to be in solo ops. It'll be in your pinnacle or your fire team ops. So once I've built up enough of those, you know what I do? I reach out to the clan and be like, hey, clanmates, I'm getting a little tired of running solo stuff. I would like to go collect these bonus drops. Who wants to team up to go do these bonus drops with me? And then I go run a bunch of fire team ops with somebody. As long as I'm getting more than one drop in a fire team op that takes 10 or 15 minutes, I'm not really losing any time. That's not really inefficient. And I'm being able to break up the monotony. I'm playing with other people. It's great. I'm not having to just necessarily go insane running solo ops all the time, even though I am kind of going insane running solo ops all the time. But I also recognize that I'm doing it to myself. It's not Bungie doing it. It's me doing it to myself.
Yeah, there is other ways to play the game. Just some people refuse to acknowledge that, and then they blame Bungie for it.
Yeah.
And
well,
to be fair, Bungie could make more than one activity the most efficient. They could work on that for sure, absolutely. But you also don't need to be 450 tomorrow. Like, just chill, just relax, enjoy your game.
I'm not even power grinding for 450. I want to, me personally, my goal is to power grind to 400.
Yeah.
Why? Because I want my account power 400, so all of my base gear drops at 400,
Yeah.
so I can avoid the infusion nightmare.
Yeah.
That is waiting for me, right? I don't want to have to get my gear and then incrementally infuse it up. I just want it all to drop at a base power level that's going to be usable for all the things that I want to do, and then I can selectively hurt myself with infusion when I'm ready. All right,
There you go.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. All right. I think we spent some time on that, and I did want this week to go a little quicker. So I think we should move on to
Okay.
something else at least.
Yeah.
Whether it's the TWID or was there anything else important?
I mean, no. I mean, we covered most of the negativity that's happening, but we can go ahead and talk about what's in the TWID right now. Arms Week's here.
Yeah, Arms Week's here. They just pushed out a tweet for anybody who's been playing it and felt like you weren't getting enough experience points to get it all done. You can now get experience points by doing portal activities.
But we were supposed to be able to do that all along, of course. It wasn't. Bungie was not trying to set up a situation where you had to spend silver to complete an event.
Well, that's what they said.
Well, listen, dog. Doing all the dailies and the weekly would get you to like 14.25 levels on the pass. Like, was Bungie really going to try to nickel and dime you for 75% of a level? They want you to spend $1 in order to finish it. Maybe they're marketing guys. Yeah, but the company, highly doubtful.
Yeah, I don't think you should. I feel like if you force people to spend $1 on the pass, then you're going to make less money than on making it a very easily available option to do for free or just pay if you're lazy. Because people will not pay just because they're out of spite that you made them pay $1. But if they're super lazy, they might just spend $15 on it. They're just like,
well, you know what I like about Arms Week that they've kind of shied away from in the past, and I know that this is going to be controversial and some people are going to be very angry about it, but for some of the dailies, you absolutely are being forced to go play Crucible. Like, you have to play Crucible to get those dailies done and get the best loot. And let me tell you, without a bunch of reroll tokens, in order, if you want the currency, the event currency, so you can buy stuff from the event store, like that means you're going to have to play Crucible to do it. And let me tell you, the weapons that you buy for 100 of the event currency, they come in higher tier than the stuff you can buy from Ada directly. So if you want to be able to access that stuff, I'll see you in the Crucible. You know what I mean? So
there you go. Anyway, I thought Arms Week was interesting. If we get more of these tiny little events that are just, it throws in a new weapon. I know this one we got a new weapon archetype. Maybe that's what makes it feel so good. Maybe they got more weapon archetypes hiding, ready to go for us. But I think it's a cool little, like, here's a little weekly event. Go have fun. Earn these 2 new weapons. Do more of that. You don't have to build any narrative dog shit. You don't have to build missions for it. Like, it's quick and easy and dirty, and then you can focus on your next expansion. I think it gives people something to shoot for. And the level 15, like, little battle pass, whatever you want to call it, I don't really care. That's helpful, I think. Just don't make that too hard to fill out, because then people will be stressed out every week to fill it out. Make it fairly reasonable. Unlike what you had for the first 2 days this week. But now that the portal stuff has opened up, it should. Well, I guess I still don't know how bad the grind is, but hopefully it's not very difficult. If heavy metal is any indication of how poor it's supposed to, or how it was, like, it was actually really easy to level up to 15 or 20. I can't remember. Maybe in heavy metal. So anyway, should be fine. Point is, it should be fine. I'm interested to get more of these. And I hope they have more than just, like, Arms Week. I hope they come up with something. Well, I know we have heavy metal, which is a bad example, but something else too. Like, that you could just, have on not necessarily, there doesn't have to be everything or a different rotation every single week, but just little things that are surprising, that are just like, it's Sparrow Week. I don't know what that would be, but you know what I mean? Just something different.
Yep. All right. Solstice is starting next week. Going to be a 2-week event. No bonfire bash.
No bonfire bash. Also, I'm showing the outfits on screen right now. Holy moly, look at these things.
Karina's going to be walking around as General Grievous wearing a fucking shark cloak 24/7. That's going to be what's going to happen.
Yep. I'm actually not General Grievous right now. I changed my skin, but yeah.
I thought you said you were never taking that off.
Well, I liked it, but again, the thing that I was so amazed about it, like the legs and the feet, I get tired of looking at. That fast. Yeah, it was crazy. And I was like, I want to look normal. Isn't that weird?
All right.
I'm always the one that gives you shit about saying that, but I was like, I want to look normal. So I have ironically, I think I have my Horizon skin back on with some of the new Eververse shaders. They not that I'm trying to sell them, chat, but a couple of the new Eververse shaders, they're good. Chat saying buy the ship. I don't remember what ship. I have the cat ship, if that's what you're wondering. Yes, I bought the cat ship. Yeah. I am currently flying around as a cat. Aloy flying around in a cat ship with an Eververse shader. That is my current character. I know I'm a sellout. Anyway, Solstice. Yes. No bonfire bash. Oh my god, what are we going to do?
Instead, we're getting a bunch of portal. It's all going to be portal stuff, and there's going to be a bunch of new portal modifiers. So
yeah, I saw some of the modifiers, the hot potato, fired up, class healing, igniter. They'd mentioned that they're probably just old artifact shit that they created into modifiers. But
yep. So I presume we'll get an event pass just like we have for Arms Week. Do all the challenges, get your gear, get your armor. The armor set bonuses, if you like playing solar subclasses, the armor set bonuses are very good. Like the 4-piece set is getting rapid solar kills heals you. Like, who wouldn't want that?
And this Solstice stuff?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, pretty good. Lots of reason to go grind that stuff out. It's gonna be great. So
that's wild. No, that sounds good. That's exciting. Yeah, I'm excited for this. Also, I hate a bonfire bash, so I know we're not getting a new activity, but you know, we can do whatever we want that's in the portal. Now, I think that's significantly better than just doing bonfire bash and getting leaves over and over and over and over and over and
Yeah.
over again.
You could do it with a team. You could go do solo ops. Some of this is going to be active in Crucible, so however you like to play the game, you can participate.
I can do whatever I want. That's what I love. Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll. The, well, they'd have to completely change up the guild if we're doing gilded Solstice now, because a lot of it was just like get 700 billion leaves. So I wonder what the guild looks like. Or maybe you still
I'm
get
not going
leaves
to
for
miss
doing
farming story
activities.
missions over and over and over again. I'll tell you that much.
What story missions?
I'm not going to be sorry. I'm not going to miss farming leaves in story missions over and over and over and over and over again.
No, I'm not gonna miss it at all. All right, that's gonna be cool though. I'm excited for it. We'll report back on how awesome Solstice is and the end of Arms Week next week. Hold on, dedicated unique. Okay. Okay. Hold on. I just want to read this because I didn't read it. It says as you play during the 2 weeks of Solstice. There's only 2 weeks of Solstice.
Yes.
Okay. You'll earn some free rewards in its dedicated event home, from a unique emblem to ghost shell to holofoil weapons. Ooh. So don't forget to completing your daily and weekly challenges so you can progress the event track all the way to on them. This version of the event home has a new and improved reward shop where you're able to purchase weapons directly up to tier 4, depending on your guardian rank. As well as tier 4 weapons and armor engrams that will also be glimmer stacks and enhancement cores if you need them. Okay, so basically what that just said. So we're not paying for these anymore at all, are we?
No.
How's Bungie
There's
making
stuff.
money?
There's stuff on the track you can buy, and like some of this stuff is going to be like all these ornaments that you see in the Solstice ad. Like all those armor sets, those are going to be Eververse sets. You're not going to be able to earn that, right?
Oh, are they?
You're going to be able to earn. They're bringing back the 2019 Solstice armor. Finally, that's going to be the armor we earned this year, I believe. So those are the ornaments you're going to be able to unlock and potentially buy
Surely they're not stupid enough to advertise these awesome weapons and armor and then just only be
the
Eververse.
weapons will be earnable in the event, but these are armor ornaments. That's not the earnable armor. If you want a shark cloak, you're gonna have to spend your
Couldn't we used to
$12 or
buy
whatever.
those for 6,000 bright dust though?
I'm sure they will be available for Bright Dust. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't count as Eververse to me.
Okay. Well,
I know it's in the Eververse store, leave me alone, but like if I'm not spending real money on it, then it's not
Greener.
Eververse.
Greener.
What?
That's stupid.
You're stupid.
Uh-huh.
All right, whatever. Yeah. Okay. Point is, when I say Eververse, I mean real money. So if I can get these for Bright Dust, then I'm good.
Yeah. You'll be able to buy your shark cloak for Bright Dust for sure.
W. All right, let's move on to Trials. Trials is back.
Well,
New art. Wait, what?
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Probably. Because the ornaments with the glows are definitely going to be available for Bright Dust. Maybe these ones will only be purchased. But I don't think so, because other event armor has always been available. Other event ornaments have always been available.
Dust, yeah.
Bright Dust as well, so it should be.
Yeah. All right. Off to Trials. Okay, so Trials is back. It's first time since Edge of Fate, I believe.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So I didn't read all this stuff, but I'm pretty sure we got new armor. Right?
There's new armor. There's a new weapon loot pool. There is no featured weapon for these next 6 weeks of Trials, though.
So it's all just
Wins can drop anything that's currently in the loop. Yep.
I'm okay with that, you know? I know you can't really focus like adepts and stuff, but
And there's only 5 guns, so probably get a good mix of all of them. It sucks if you're trying to farm a certain one. Like, let me tell you, if you're a PvP player, that Arius neutralizer, the trial spreadshot hand cannon, it can get Adagio. I would be willing to bet that once you have Adagio up and running on it, it'll one-hit body. Pretty sure it'll one-hit body. So I will definitely be looking for that. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna just get a bunch of trials engrams and then focus the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah,
but I gotta
indeed.
farm for Glimmer this now.
Oh, so sorry.
It's a big deal. Nah, I still got a bunch of phantasmal fragments that I can. It'll keep me going probably for a couple months, but then I'm out. Then I'm cooked.
Farming for glimmer is not a big deal if you're power grinding. You regain your glimmer so fast.
I want to be able to get 100 engrams and focus them all at St. 14 without leaving a tower.
Sorry, buddy. You're gonna have to go play the game.
No, I refuse. This game is no. I'm just kidding. All right. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So that must be the new gun. Obviously, that's the new gun completely.
That's one of them. The
Ares
the
neutralizer.
arc disabler is also
Disabler.
new.
Okay. I was gonna say I don't remember there being a strand auto rifle, precision frame auto rifle in Trials before. So the top two, all right, and then everything else. I kind of wish Aisha's Embrace wasn't there. I got so many of them last season that it's just like, whatever, dude, get them out of there. All right, anyway, I got those for 6 weeks, uninterrupted. There you go.
Yep.
I don't care about this.
There's a bunch of patch notes that were missed. I don't really think we need to cover them tonight.
Nah.
Go take a look. So you know exactly how stuff works. The most important stuff in here, I think, has to do with health versus shields and how that interaction works, because people are complaining in PvP that their recovery feels like it's less than 6, but there's more to the story than that. So if you have exceptionally low stats, like if you have tanked your health stat, it is going to feel worse than that. So people should go take a look at that before they go just whining anywhere. And then there's a bunch of issues that they're investigating. This has really been fucking... Edge of Fate is Edge of fucking bugs, dude. Because there are so many bugs in the game right now. So many.
There's definitely a lot of bugs. But they've been pretty good on comms, I think, since Edge of Fate dropped. And they're... obviously, they're not fixing everything as fast as they need to be, but they're little hot fixes going out here and there when they
There better be, because there's never been more bugs in a release than this. Not ever.
Yeah, all right. There's definitely
some
a lot
of them
bugs,
are super infuriating. You have any idea how common the sprint bug is in Crucible right now?
No, I don't.
Bro, I will play Crucible and I will get the sprint bug 3 or 4 times in a single match. You know how annoying it is to not be able to sprint in Crucible? Because if you can't sprint, you also can't do things like slide. And if you have any guns that are burst fire, the sprint bug also affects your gun's rate of fire on top of it. So, and not positively.
They did mention they're gunning for a fix on that.
They're gunning for a temporary fix. Yes, they're putting a Band-Aid on it. We'll see how the Band-Aid, whether or not we bleed through the Band-Aid. All right.
Yeah, better.
But there are so many bugs. It's so many bugs.
Okay. Yep. Lots of bugs. We got it. Lots of bugs. And you're right. It's a temporary fix that will only reduce the amount of time it's happening while they investigate a permanent fix. That's kind of crazy. Next thing on here, they mentioned the Desert Perpetual stuff that we were talking about earlier, then that they're banning people. So good luck with that, all you cheaters.
Get fucked, losers.
Yeah.
Wait. Get fucked, losers. Thank
you. Raid and dungeon difficulty scaling is reducing, or they're reducing it. Like the power delta. So I'm just going to read this. They'll be updating difficulty for legacy raid and dungeon activities to address player feedback. The combat difficulty for normal and master modes will be reduced by 10 power. What are they now?
20.
Well, not both of them.
The power deltas start at -20.
So normal's -20 and master is
Yeah.
what, -30?
I don't know what master is, but basic bitch stuff is -20.
Okay, so they're going to be reducing that to our normal to -10 and then master mode down 10 from whatever it is. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. They went a
Uh,
little aggressive with their power deltas for sure.
is that an increase from
Yes.
last year?
It's doubled.
So they're just dropping it back down.
Yeah. Yeah. Certain
What
bosses like the
listen.
Corrupted Puppeteer, 10 phases with a full fire team.
Jesus.
The boss of Sunder Doctrine, fucking 7 phases with a full fire team.
Well, that's wild anyway. -20 is 5 short. Well, isn't contest mode -25?
I think contest mode this time was more than that, though, wasn't it?
No, but isn't it supposed to be -25?
I mean, that's what it's been in the past. Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, we're stronger now.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Of course.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. Anyway, whatever. All right. They're gonna drop that down. I will be updating difficulty of Combined Mastery Triumph and Desert Perpetual to address base combat power will be lowered by 10. Enemies will deal less damage and players will be able to deal more damage, while lowering the Cutthroat Combat Raid feature, raid feat, specifically for the combat difficulty by 10 power from +40 to +30. We'll be lowering the combined master. Oh wait, it's all the same stuff. Only requiring a single completion at base difficulty, which will upgrade gear. Okay, yeah. So instead of getting tier 1, you'll get tier 2 layered on top of this, and so you'll get tier 3 and beyond. Blah 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 blah. We get it. All right, they're gonna make the triumphs easier because some of them were too hard. I guess I don't know. They were too hard. All right, the only other thing on here is there's a D2 content creator event happening. You can win some all that emblems and potentially collector's edition of Edge of Fate. If you watch them, you can go check out all the names. I'm not going to read them out here. I was actually thinking about participating in this, but I knew I would not be ready to do it. So, which is unfortunate. Big Sag. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be this high enough to do the raid by then. I might. But anyway, I guess. I don't need to talk. But there's more lore here. No one cares. That's it. Here, look at this art for a second. This art is done by Drift Cretes. I don't know what it is. What am I looking at? You have any idea?
Just a kiss.
Okay, I did kind of see that, but okay, yeah, I see it, and that's his arm, and is it purple hair? Okay, I don't know. Oh, just a kiss. That's what it's okay. That's what it's called. Yeah, yeah. All right, fair enough. Cool. Okay, and it's Lodi. Okay, is that his glass?
That is definitely Lodi. There's
That's
his glasses on an earpiece.
Okay. Oh, yeah. See, I'm not there with it. All right, chat.
That's Lodi and the Guardian having a little kiss after assassinating JFK.
Listen, they went on
Listen,
they went on such a big talk about that during GCX about how the gravitron spike was not used to kill JFK. All right. You should watch the Q&A afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, listen, here's the thing.
If I were involved in the JFK conspiracy, I would deny it too.
Well, they refused to say JFK or anything like that. So they did this metaphor. Oh, Milo was up on stage with them, and he was doing this whiteboard thing, this digital whiteboard thing,
Yep.
about firing, or I don't know, I forget what it was, something into chickens, not people, and it was this whole thing. It was crazy. And then whenever anybody would say anything that referenced the actual event, like the word grassy knoll, he'd be like, "What? What do you mean?" It was actually pretty amusing. You'd have to watch it to see it. But he did. There was this great big. Here, hold on. I took a picture of it. Let's see if I have it here. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. See if this works. Chat. Okay. Yeah. You see that there?
Yep.
That was his whiteboard drawing of people being. Oh my god. You imagine those were boobs? Stop it! They could have been. All these little green squares are chickens. They're supposed to represent all the people in the car. These little red lines are the path that the bullet's taking. So it wasn't a bullet.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, salt or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was really interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, they refuse to actually say it or acknowledge the word. Like,
All that physics
assassinate
matters
person.
when we're talking about a gun that uses paracausality to power itself. Yep.
Well, no, that was his point, because the line didn't make any sense, and he's like, "How could that be possible with a regular, you know, salt shaker?" They would say shit like that. And then and then the narrative director would say something like "shoot," and that's when you go, "Shoot!" Yeah, it's pretty funny. Anyway, so that was more stuff.
All right. Well,
More GCX stuff. I saw Bob at GCX, and who else? Anyone from Shrouded? I know there was. They're gonna be so insulted. Oh, you know who I saw at GCX?
yeah. Who?
Demon Huntress. Do you know
Oh, yeah?
her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I couldn't remember if you were on our side of the community back then. Yep. That was actually fine. No drama. And then yeah, Bob was there. I feel like I saw somebody else. I feel like an asshole. Oh, Kirby. I saw Kirby. Kirby was there. Any pictures? I've been posting some on Twitch. Jesus. Twitter. Which reminds me, I could just take a look at some of the pictures and I would know if I met anybody. Alright, so... Oh, Perez. Yes, Perez and his wife. So I told him... we joked about me giving him shit on the live stream. Or on the podcast.
Because he's a traitor.
Yeah, because he's a traitor.
Who left you for a bigger streamer?
Yeah, exactly. No, all the pictures I have here. So I had Perez's photo. Bob, that's a streamer. Oh, I took a picture with the guy that voices Commander Shepard in Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Mark Mir. I thought that was cool, even though I play FemShep. If I had a choice, I would have got a picture with Jennifer Hale.
Did you put that signed merch like on your bedside table or on the ceiling above your bed or something? I figure that's probably where it would be at. Yeah.
The other one.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think it's really cool. But I didn't even know the guy. Like, until I looked and I saw that he voiced Sovereign, I didn't even know who he was. So, I think it would have been a much more interesting experience had I had known him specifically, knew he had voiced Sovereign, saw him there, saw the Sovereign photo, and put it all together. Mine is still, it's here somewhere. I don't know exactly what I want to do with it, but I'm going to do something with it.
What I want is a picture of you flipping off the guy who voiced Garrus while screaming at him, "You're the worst character!"
You know, no, I hate Ashley too. Put them both beside each other. Yeah. All right. I don't even know who voices either one of them because I don't care. See how that works? Because they suck. If Garrus was there with a Garrus photo, I would not have paid for a signature, just to be clear. I would have been like, well, I would have done what you just said. Like, your character sucked. And then took a selfie of me giving him the finger. All right, I'm going to go. This actually was not shorter than regular. So...
Outro.
Yeah, I hate myself. Thank you all so much for watching episode 118 of This Week at Shrouded. I was your host, Ed Greener. Thanks to Mr. Rex for being here. We talked about a lot of stuff, including the Desert Perpetual, the cheating scandal, GCX, the TWAS this week, lots of different stuff. Power deltas in the raid going down, lots and lots of bugs. And then, of course, just Edge of Fate in general and the Portal activities. It's been a blast. I had a great time. I am enjoying Destiny at the moment, even though I'm not getting a chance to play it much. I hope you guys are too. Thanks for watching the podcast, and we'll see you next week on This Week at Shrouded.
Good night, chat.
Bye-bye.